farmers are harvesting food they cannot sell, consumers are paying more than ever to feed their families, and key public institutions continue to face food supply shortages. Well, the contradiction is raising fresh questions about the efficiency of Ghana's food system and whether existing interventions are really delivering the results that we all expect. Well, one institution created to bridge that gap is the Ghana Commodity Exchange. They were established to improve market access, really, and also to reduce post-harvest losses. Their main goal is support food storage and connect farmers with buyers through structured trade and financing. Well, today we're examining why the gap between food production and food access persistently continues to be a challenge. Well, join me now in the studio for more on this is Ophelia Atoklo. She is Deputy CEO for Ghana Commodity Exchange. Vitus Nifankan. Did I get that right? Yeah. Oh, good. He is head of risk and partnership at Ghana Commodity Exchange. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. I'd like to start with Ophelia, Women Empowering Women. Yes, please. Because really, we want to find out, for most people who haven't heard of Ghana Commodity Exchange, what exactly do you do?
Okay, thank you very much. I wish to take this platform to acknowledge our clients and registered members. Thank you very much for your patronage. And I sit here and pledge on behalf of Ghana Commodity Exchange for a continued service, very efficient, quality and quantity is assured. Now, to start up with, I would like to touch base on your intro. It is true that farmers are always complaining about not having market access and not getting the right prices to sell their commodities. It is true. And I think we've had this traditional conception viewing farming from the lens or through the lens of poverty alleviation. That is where agriculture is just farming, backyard farming, and then the surplus is sold in the market. It is high time we view agriculture through the lens of investment and wealth creation. And this shift in paradigm would focus or should focus more on having a robust trading platform and a more secure trading platform. And that is where GCX comes in.
And how does GCX really differ from other traditional agricultural commodities in the system?
Okay, so for the purpose of listeners hearing about GCX for the first time, I would like to talk about GCX a little bit on what we do so they can have a better appreciation. So GCX, it's a government agency that was established in 2018 to mitigate inefficiencies associated with traditional markets. So GCX, our operations are anchored on 3 legs. The first is we provide market access to buyers and sellers. So we do not sell commodities. We facilitate, we provide the platform and facilitate trade, linking buyers and sellers. And then the second one, we also provide a storage facility for farmers. So where normally during harvest seasons, of course, it's normally characterized with a lot of food commodities, and sometimes we experience gluts. When this happens, farmers experience post-harvest losses. We have prices of commodities falling down to unreasonable prices and a whole lot. And we have aggregators or buyers taking advantage and buying these commodities at very reduced prices. So with our warehouse storage facilities, farmers who produce are able to move their commodities into our warehouses, and then this helps mitigate post-harvest losses. And then farmers are also able to take their time through our warehouse receipt financing. That's the third leg I'm just going to explain, so that they will not be compelled or pressurized to sell their commodities at very reduced prices, because they have a storage facility that can hold their commodities until the prices start hiking up. Then they can sell. And we do not only provide storage facilities, we also operate what we call the warehouse receipt financing. So warehouse receipt financing, we partner with some government financial institutions and private cooperatives. So when a farmer, a smallholder farmer, deposits his or her commodities in the warehouse, it begins at the warehouse. The farmer is issued with what we call goods received notes. With the goods received notes, the farmer's details are written, the number of commodities he or she is bringing, and then the type of commodity. And the farmer is given a copy of that goods received notes. Now, this goods received notes in our operations is regarded as a digital currency, where farmers can use that as collateral backed by the digital currency, the goods received notes. With that one, GCX is able to get financial institutions to issue financial support in the form of soft loans to these farmers who ordinarily wouldn't have had access to these banks because of the risk involved in lending. So these goods in the warehouses are backed by the GRN, and then that is used as collateral.
Okay.
The farmers are given these soft loans in a period of about 6 months. And then through that period, the goods are secured in the warehouse. Of course, our warehouse, let me explain this. Our warehouse are licensed by standard authority. And then our warehouse operators are also licensed. So they know how to, they are trained to handle commodities and all of that. So that when you bring your goods, quality can only be improved, but you can never get it wrong. It can never go bad, as in storing it in any ordinary warehouse, which is not licensed and do not have the adequate equipment required to keep your farm produce in a very good state until you are ready to sell.
I'll come back to you to find out how farmers can get individuals who buy from them at very good rates, because that's the concern really. But let me go now to Mr. Vitus. Every year we hear of stories of food gluts, especially in rural Ghana. But here in urban centers, the prices of goods and services, especially when it comes to foodstuff, always keeps skyrocketing. And so we're wondering really why this paradox exists and what you're doing to bridge that gap.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a real paradox which exists attributable to two conditions. The first condition I will talk about is logistics. Okay, so as you know, the roads in Ghana are very deplorable. That's both feeder roads and highways, and so cost of carrying this produce from the surplus areas to the deficit areas is very high. And then the transport owners also have to spend a lot of money to repair their trucks. So they pass on all these costs to the ultimate consumer. So for instance, a bag of maize that can cost 100 Ghana cedis in Tumu hits Accra at 150 Ghana cedis, okay, which is about 50% of the original cost. The second constraint, or the second part of the issue, has to do with how we market agricultural produce in Ghana, for instance. So in the developed world, even before the farmer goes to cultivate, he will have had a market in mind and will have a price in mind. But here, what do? We cultivate the commodity, and so that we are looking for the buyer. And then the farmers become what we call price takers, and especially for perishable goods. Once you have your tomatoes and then the person comes and offers you any price, you have to take it like that. So once we don't change our logistics and our marketing system, we'll continue to have these kind of problems. Luckily, the exchange is trying to launch what we call derivatives, which is a forward market. So before the farmer goes to the market, to the farm, he and the ultimate buyer will agree on the quantity, the price, and the delivery date. So that once the harvest is done, there's no argument on what the pricing or the quantity should be. Thank you.
But how much food do we lose, really, when we harvest them to the point where it gets to us, the consumers?
Thank you. So this one depends on who you are talking to and the commodity you are dealing with. But the experts say in Ghana we lose between 25% to 40% of food at post-harvest. And the highest losses are the vegetables, for vegetables, especially carrots, tomatoes, and then lettuce. For the grains, that is cereals, we estimate the percentage to be around 30%. So basically what it means in whole numbers is that if you harvest 100 bags of rice, you can lose up to 30 bags. And then for the vegetables, if you harvest about 10 cans of tomatoes, you can lose up to 5 cans. So that's how serious the problem is.
And that's where you come in, because as a farmer, should I bring my commodity to you, I'm wondering how you can get me favorable pricing, especially in this day and time. How can you do that for me?
That's true. So the GCX trading platform is a structured market, unlike the traditional market where we refer to it as unstructured, with the fragmented markets dotted in all the towns and all of that, probably near farm gates. When it comes to GCX, we have a centralized trading platform with a very wide database. We have members locally and international. So a farmer in Boku, where I come from, doesn't need to trade with farmers within the catchment area of Upper East, Boku, Sandima, and all of that. Farmer can sit in the comfort of his or her home and trade with somebody as far as the Middle Belt, Techima, Kentampo, and Accra. A farmer could also be, without knowing the person, a farmer could also be trading with an international buyer through a broker and all of that. So a farmer, anybody trading through the commodity exchange has access to a wider database, access to markets, and then price discovery. Now, if you take the traditional markets, for example, it's, there's always a monopoly play by these middlemen. So they determine what price a farmer should sell his or her commodity. Now, with GCX, we have a database that makes reference to national pricing, and we do it on a daily basis. So if a price last week was 100 cedis, for example, price of maize was 100 cedis last week, the farmer in Boku would still hold on to the 100 cedis last week. However, through our database, we conduct research on a daily basis and publish it on our platform. So if the price last week was 100, today the price could be 150 or 120 in that order. So the farmer is abreast with the pricing. So there's no price or information asymmetry with regards to pricing. So the farmer is knowledgeable in the commodity and the price, unlike the traditional market where there is this monopoly and price is being determined by the middleman. And also, we also have the farmer enjoying competitive prices. So we have these buyers competing with one another to buy commodities from these sellers. So that's nothing like bilateral negotiations between buyer and seller. The farmer gets to choose who he wants to sell the commodity to. That is, if the price meets his or her expectation. So with access to market and pricing, they are exposed to all of that through using our trading platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we wrap up the conversation briefly, I would just like to wrap up with Vitus and tell me really how I can be a part of the GCX system as a smallholder farmer.
Okay, so as a smallholder farmer, we make the process very simple for you. So once you harvest your commodity, you call our farmer support officers. They will come to your farm gate and do the basic checks to be sure that your commodity meets our standards. After that, the commodity is transported to our warehouses where the certification is done, and when you are ready to sell, you just enter the system, you enter your sell order, and that's it.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time here on The Pulse. And I'm sure I'll be inviting you some other time because we want to understand how the system is working now and how many people have enrolled on the system and how effective it is. And that's a conversation we're having in the coming months. I'm sure you'll be here and available for that conversation, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to having you at GCX. Come and have a tour, see our operations, see our trading platform. And then utilization of our trading platform is not limited to just the buyer and the seller, even the local consumer
I
you
see.
need to, the kenke you buy from the open market, you do not know where the maize is coming from. And funny enough, a lot of people do not even know maize can be infested. I'm using maize because that's a common staple in Ghana.
Okay.
Maize can be infested with what we call aflatoxin. Now, a high consumption of aflatoxin is not healthy for the human being, and even animals. So whether you are buying for local, for like your home consumption, or you are a food vendor buying to sell cooked meals for food people, or you are an investor who wants to export, you need to utilize the trading platform so that you are assured of quality because of our standardized operations.
Okay.
Right from grading it and then grading it based on quality and making sure that what we provide is fit for life. They say your health is your wealth.
And I'm looking forward to coming over, really, because this conversation is one that we cannot end.
And you
yet.
know, you can buy as low as 1 metric tons. 1 metric ton. It's not in large quantities. 1 metric ton is about 20 bags. So instead of going to the market to buy 20 bags of maize and keep it there for consumption at home, you are not assured of quality. Come to GCX, get your quality grains, 20 bags, and you are healthy and you will be satisfied with the service.
Ophelia is clearly a marketer because she's not allowing me to wrap up. But then, thank you so much, Ophelia Invites, for your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from